In 1974, English string-slinging brothers Paul and Adrian Gurvitz, recently of Three Man Army, joined forces with former Cream drummer Ginger Baker, and collectively they became the Baker Gurvitz Army. And from their first of three albums, the 1974 Baker Gurvitz Army album, the track Memory Lane. Okay, this is Ginger Baker for you. Yeah, one of rock's greatest drummers, and he is just all over everything, just laying like fills, laying hits. And the real strident tone of the Gurvitz, too, had a very distinct guitar, way of guitar, like Adrian Gurvitz, like going back to Gun in the late 60s. Ginger is just like spraying this track with toms. He does this throughout the album a lot. Now we're going into a really like gruff blues rock section, kind of like acting like the West Bruce Lang, you know, kind of loosely related to this. You know, one thing about Baker's drumming on this album is that there aren't really many like heavy beats, but there's a lot of spray. There's a lot of tom spray, just really hyperactive and very much distinctive from other rock drummers of the period. Let's see. Oh, won't you come with me down the memory lane? Won't you come with me and live your life again? Relive those memories, the ones you can't forget. All those crazy times that haven't been beat yet. So, pretty self-evident where this is going.
Carry on, but don't forget what's gone. Time crawling, gazing bright. You know they still go on. The time to wreck the trains. The time to count the chains. The time to walk the street. You know, so out of our brains.
Let's see, helping out the trio on this, let's see, okay. First of all, we got Paul Gurvitz bass vocals and Adrian Gurvitz guitar vocals. And you know what Ginger Baker's doing. He also plays vibes on this album. But let's see, keyboard synthesizer, John Norman Mitchell. Yeah. And orchestration by Martin Ford and John Bell. Yeah, Adrian Gurvitz has, like I said, strident tone. It just a very distinctive like sound that just kind of snakes its way through everything, and with this really kind of like brimming resonance to it. Back in 1968, the Gurvitz brothers were kind of ahead of their time as far as power trios go. Like it was like the one song that one of their songs was included, with in the Rubble series, the UK Rubble series, and that and the Love Sculpture, a kind of similar duo that featured Dave Edmunds at the same time. Both those tracks stood out like sore thumbs. Like everything else had that 60s kind of freak beat sound, whereas and one of them anyway, George Starlston once commented on his old site that it was either the Gun track or the Love Sculpture track, said this sounds like it's from the 1970s, and so kind of sounds, even though it was recorded in 1968, so sounds kind of, so this, they were always ahead of the curve.
Sometimes I wonder back to the streets I used to live.
Let's see, I don't know which of the brothers is singing right here. It's strange how the vocals are so similar to Jack Bruce.
When I stand and look and feel my past around me, a deserted house, a broken fence, a broken home, a bloody mess.
those like ostensibly it's a Marshall fill, but there's a lot more beats within it than you would typically hear in kind of a marching drum type procession.
Trying good back into reality.
He has got like a really Baker has like a really supple wrist or something, an ability to really hit, repeatedly, like so many times, like much faster than typical drumming. Some good held notes right there. Let's catch up with the lyrics. Let's see. We got to carry on, but don't forget what's gone. Curb crawling days in Brighton. You know they still go on. Oh, this is starting to hint at something a bit more interesting. He's talking to some mate of his from back in the day. That curb crawling days in Brighton would indicate like early day, like say the mid '60s when they were first getting into the music scene, squatting and stuff like that. Yeah, the times we wrecked the trains, the times we pulled the chains, the times we walked the street. So out of our brains. So maybe back to like their early teens or early adolescence, actually, when they were kind of going through the juvenile delinquent phase. Sometimes I wander back to the streets I used to live, and I stand and look and feel my past around me. A deserted house, a broken fence. Yeah, that post-war working class tenement type street environment. Yeah, a broken home, a bloody mess, and I try and put it back in reality. Brighton, that's also where the Who came from. Yeah, and we've heard their anecdotes about their origins and the surroundings and like the winners, the losers, the people who made it out of that situation and made something of themselves, and the people who didn't. It almost sounds like he's playing two. It almost sounds like he's double. No, he's not. Yeah, it almost seems like I'm hearing two drum sets at once. Like I'm hearing I'm hearing like two arms on the snare, and then I'm also hearing some fills coming over on the toms. But I'd imagine that he's doing he's using one. What sounds like two arms is actually being done with one arm. One arm for the snare, one arm for the toms. Quite a spotlight, and he deserves it. Okay, why wasn't he more in demand during the 1970s? I'm so glad that this project came about. Oh, now getting some kick drum in this as well. And I'm also hearing a bit of some percussion, a bit of rattle in there. If he is doing all this at once, just with two, it sounds like he has four arms. Okay, he's using three limbs. He's using a leg, two arms, and like 4 kicks per bar. Oh, and he's like doubling up on them with. A bit of trivia about Ginger Baker. His real name is actually Peter Edward Baker. You know, silly me, it only occurred to me recently that the name Ginger must have been based on his hair color. Yeah. Going back to the days, I guess, with the Graham Bond organization, when he looked really different, pre beard. In his like mod phase, anyway. I love these anthemic open cadence, you know, chords. Like the way that like Adrian Gurvitz's guitar is just kind of like searing right through, taking command, and then Ginger Baker is just, you know, covering it up with like spray of all kinds of like tom kick. You know. That was Memory Lane by the Baker Gurvitz Army from their 1974 self-titled album, their first of 3. Following right up on a very prolific early 70s period for the Gurvitz brothers. Gun, 3-man army, and there were also some side projects. I think both of them were also involved around this time in the Graham Edge Band. One of the Moody's side projects when the Moody's were inactive between 1973 and 1977. And in a similar vein to this, actually. Paul Gurvitz also did a collaborative album a few years before this. Let's see, Ginger Baker, after Cream, was fronted this kind of jam rock, Afro rock band called Air Force. Put out 2 like live albums back to back. Great artwork. Unfortunately, I can't quite. I would have to revisit those. I would like to say that they were another great brass rock ensemble, kind of like, you know, alongside If and Coliseum and the like. But I remember the recording quality being kind of shoddy on those for some reason. And it seems like he wasn't really doing a whole lot in the interim, other than maybe like a project with with Graham Bond, I think. Yeah, Stratovarius. And after this, after the 3 Baker Gurvitz Army albums, he I don't know if he really did a lot until Bill Laswell came looking for him in the mid '80s, and he put out Horses and Trees in 1986, I believe on celluloid, and that same year appeared on Public Image Limited's generic album. Yeah, that contact coming through via the Bill Laswell connection. Yeah, because Laswell produced that album. Yeah. Anyway, let's hear another track from this Baker Gurvitz Army album. Love Is. I love this propulsive, jerky quality of that. And did you hear that little tinkly, glowy keyboard in there? Yeah, this is really like a herky-jerk number. Oh, anyway, I love how it goes from that really staccato, closed cadence, jerky, choppy sections, and into this more like open cadence, grandiose area. Now we're hearing the effects of those strings that were mentioned in the credits. the rising notes of those strings. It's like we're hearing the same key center, but there's like this ascent going on, down down, like. It's in 4/4, but it sounds like it almost like it sounds like or feels like an asymmetric time signature just because of the jerkiness. Maybe it's because there's some like twos thrown in there, like definite twos. Like a stormy hurricane type feel. Great break by Adrian. And Paul's bass work is really crucial to the kind of jerky, choppy feel of this. If you follow his notes, like... Yeah, he's the one taking things like bum 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 bum. I love the contrast of the sweeping string notes over those really staccato root notes. Notice how Ginger Baker is kind of doing like jerky, like 1 2 3 4, and then 1 2 3 4 1 2, and then on the final two he throws in a fill. How Ginger is like throwing in those cymbals, like just like or the hi-hat. Heard a bit of horn. I wish there was more of that. Grand finale. That was Love Is by the Baker Gurvitz Army, and before that Memory Lane, yeah, two just whirlwind tracks from their self-titled 1974 album. Baker Gurvitz Army, the collective, the super trio that brought together the Gurvitz brothers, Paul and Adrian, of Three-Man Army, together with Ginger Baker, yes, the one and only. For more Rubies and Sapphires from the catalog from the 3 albums by the Baker Gurvitz Army, see the directory of albums by English B artists linked in the description below for Red Hot Tracks and Purples from this album, and let's see, Elysian Encounter, which came out the following year, and Hearts on Fire, which came out in '76. Yeah, and then from there you can go on to other letters in the directory to see albums by Three-Man Army, by Cream, by the Graham Edge Band, yes. Like and subscribe and follow me on social media, and leave a comment if there are any observations you have about the 2 tracks we just heard. The layers, the dizziness, the just hyperactive drum rolls, the searing guitar work, and big sweep of the orchestration, and yeah, the effect it had on you. And until next time, this is Zaragon, the world's most ear travel trimaximalist, signing off.